So again, happy to have you here and welcome to CABI. CABI stands for Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International. It's not for-profit international organization, and we are working hard to improve people's lives via scientific expertise and trying to solve problems in agriculture and environment. We have been established in 1910 by United Nations Treaty. As I said, we provide expertise and information about agriculture and environment. We are owned by 48 member countries. We have staff over 21 locations around the world, and we are EUC program 4-pillar approved and audited in 2011. So here you can see sort of people spread over the world that work for CABI, and this is the member countries that own CABI. And you could see this is the mixture between developed and developing nations, like Canada, China, Switzerland, UK, and then South Africa. You could find Ghana, you could find many other African and Malaysian and Asian countries. So our main activities are international development and research, publishing, and microbial services. So international development, there are more of programs that they focus on specific program that we work with European Union or World Bank or Bill Gates Foundation to help Ministry of Agriculture around the world to develop and improve its system, its network, skills of their extension workers. And the objective, of course, is to improve and increase the crops, reduce all the diseases, and make sure that all farmers do have good yield and return on their crops and season. We do have different programs, but today our session is mainly about publishing. So the publishing, we have different types of content. We have ebooks, as you can see here, and we have e-learning courses. We have even open access content. We have PRA, pest risk analysis tools. We have printed books and electronic books. We have compendium, and we have databases. This is the international development projects like that I was talking about. The Horizon tool is part of the compendium. So this is the type of content: books, ebooks, compendium, and online resources. We publish around 70 books per year. We have, including our old books, about 930 ebook on our platform. And we have about 13 million records in our databases. Over 500,000 of them are full text. So starting very quickly with CABI Academy, which is the e-learning part of CABI, where we try to bring really what we have in international development into the academic and hands-on work for students and extension workers. Also, it's fully digital and accessible online. And not only for students, but also could be for professional people who are already working for ministries and they would like to develop their academic knowledge. So really it's more for capacity building and simpling all the academic work and combining it with hands-on work from our expertise of our project in international development, and we have produced these e-learning courses. So it comprises competency framework, practitioner certifications, deep and broad curriculum, high-quality online courses. We also do it via webinars, face-to-face courses, and online community of practice. So what are the courses that are available now with CABI? One, we call it crop pest diagnostics. At the moment, we have English and Spanish version, and the new one came out this year called crop pest management. If you go to doctor, first thing you do is you diagnose, and then he gives you some recommendation. And it's exactly the same. So we diagnose the crops or the pests, and then we show and learn and teach how to manage that. Our resources comes with crop pest fields guide, trainer guide, and crop protection resources. So that is the CABI Academy, which is the e-learning part of the content and publishing. Now we have the CAB Direct, which is mainly journal, conference proceeding, grey literature, books, chapters, and so on, as you can see here, but it's primarily journals. And these are the subject areas that we cover in our databases. So animal sciences, plant sciences, forestry, aquatic sciences, environmental sciences, food sciences, human sciences, and tourism. So just very briefly here, animal sciences, this is a type of animal science subject. Obviously, there are more sub-subjects are covered. Plant sciences, the same here, you could see sub-subjects, and we have more subjects within the plant sciences. Forestry, aquatic sciences, environmental sciences, food sciences, as you can see. And there are more really sub-subjects that could be covered in our databases. I don't really want to be very long. Briefly, I wanted to show you what we cover. So here, the sort of source of content. So 46% of the content from Europe, 20% North America, 3% from Middle East, and you could see different varieties. So at least we cover a lot of regions around the world. I would like to thank you for your attention with me. I know this is just an introduction for CABI, and I think most important is going to come now, the part with Dr. Said. It's going to be a nice journey of international navigation of international publication. Said, I think we skip the web demo this time, and next week we will do the web demo. So the people are here today. We have another session next Tuesday, same time, for the second part of navigation of international publication. Over to you, Said.
Thank you so much, Brahim, for the nice introduction to CABI, and I would like to welcome you all for our training session today. This entire series is devoted for navigating the international publication pathway from an early career faculty perspective, sharing some of the ideas and the pitfalls that we have been through, just to help everybody at the same stage of their career, not to repeat those mistakes. So for the heroes that are here with us today, I would like to welcome you all to this journey. So straight to what this journey all is about. It's meant to help early career faculty, graduate students, and researchers to navigate the international publication journey. And to do so, we broke it down into different steps, and we further broke those steps down into smaller steps to make sure that it's going to be an easy journey, and at each stage of that journey we will have a clear idea of what we are up to. So what we're going to discuss in this journey is, first we're going to talk about the motivations of publishing our research in international journals. Second, we will talk about how to choose a research topic that is publishable internationally, and what are the standards, the international standards for research topics to be published. And then we're gonna discuss the journal selection, when to select the journal, how to select the journal, and how to do so effectively. So these three topics are the topics that we're going to cover today. And next session, we're going to cover the writing process of the manuscript. So the entire session is going to be devoted to writing the manuscript, starting from the title all the way to the references. And also it's going to be very detailed, and we will have some examples and some hands-on for people to practice with us. So for those who have not registered yet for the next one, I hope it's going to be an interesting one for you when you join us. The third session is going to be for the submission process and the post-submission process. So we're going to start the third one with submission, then the peer review process. We're going to give some deep overview of the peer review process with its actual meaning and intention, not just what comes to people's mind when they hear about the peer review process. And last but not least, we're gonna discuss delivering the impact of your research, published research, how to emphasize and how to increase the impact of your published research. We hope by navigating this journey one step at a time, sharing a lot of the pitfalls that people usually come across. Hopefully by the end of this journey we will have some better idea on how to navigate this journey. So starting with motivations, why publish? Why do we need, or why do we want to publish? This is a key question that we need to have an answer for before we start this journey. And the reason is there is a lot of, this journey is not an easy one. And if you don't have some strong motivations, it's not going to be easy for you. So when we discuss our motivations and we ask ourselves why, then we start to get our energy up, our energy level up. So we'll talk about why we want to publish. So what does publishing internationally means? For graduate students, it means that they can fulfill the requirements for graduate school for their PhD or master's programs. It also means that their writing qualities are quality assured by experts in their fields. So they can produce some well-written scientific pieces that are quality assured by experts in their field. It also means that we can apply for faculty positions. So for example, this is a post about an assistant professor in plant pathology. I think it was California Davis, the university was. And here, as you see, it's clear that to apply for faculty position, for a faculty position, you need a very good record of publication. So they say evidence of success in research and publication. Again, we need to publish to be able to apply for postdoctoral positions. And here is some summary of the expectations on a faculty position. I'm sorry, for a postdoctoral position. So as a postdoctoral associate, you are sorry, we are highlighting the wrong part here. So we are expected to publish to at least 2 articles in international journals per year. So to have a postdoctoral position in the first place, you need a record of publication as a PhD student, and then as a postdoctoral associate or researcher, again, you are expected to publish internationally. Also to apply for grants. the publication is key. And in some types of grants, actually, the publication quality is further scrutinized and further evaluated. So here is one of the grant proposals that I have applied for. And as you see, they ask for 3 papers in the most cited international journals in the field. So again, you know, to get funded, you need publication. And why does the funding agencies require that? Actually, it's key, because usually the funding agencies get their fund from public funds, and they want to pass it to research projects that will yield some scientific publication to inform the public. And that's why even when you have grants, you still need to publish to meet the requirements of the funding agencies. And some of those agencies require publishing in certain journals with or journals with a certain quartile number or certain impact factor as a minimum. So, and just to remind ourselves, the impact factor is the number of citations in a journal in a certain year divided by the number of published paper in that journal in the 2 previous years. And according to this impact factor, this number, the journals are ranked and classified into 4 quartiles. The Q1 journals, which are the group of journals that fall into the upper quartile of the range. Then Q2, 50 to 75, and so on. So usually the Q1 and Q2 journals are the one that probably are people are looking up for. In this system of judging, or let's say evaluating the impact of research papers, has a lot of limitations. So we should not rely on the impact factor of the journal in which the manuscript is published to evaluate or to value the impact of the research paper. And the reason for that is the impact factor of a journal is not does not reflect the impact of individual publications there, because it might be high due to some few papers that are receiving a lot of citations. Maybe some of those citations are -1. So if a journal, if the journal has high impact factor, that doesn't mean that every single publication there is really impactful, and vice versa. It doesn't. If a journal has a low impact factor, that doesn't mean that every single publication in that journal is not impactful. The impact factor is also field specific, which means that disciplines like humanities, you might in humanities, the impact factor of the journals is really low. And it's not fair to compare that to biological sciences, where journals are expected to receive a high number of citations, and therefore the impact factor there is expected to be significantly higher. The impact factor calculation method does not differentiate between primary research papers and review papers. Which the review papers, as you know, tends to get more citations, and we'll get into that in a few. Also, the impact factor system could be manipulated or gamed by editorial policy, and here I can share like a couple of points about that. As you know, because the equation here of calculating the impact factor takes into account the citation in the last year and divide it by number of papers published in the previous year. That means when you get more towards the end of the year, if a paper is published around December 2019, that means it has only 1 month or less to have a positive impact on the impact factor of the journal. And once we move into 2020, that manuscript will have no positive impact on the impact factor. However, it's gonna stay there in the denominator to negatively affect the impact factor. That's why most of the, or not most, that's why you might experience some lag in publishing papers towards the end of the year, just to make sure that those papers are gonna have a chance, just to make sure that those papers are gonna be published in January the following year or so, so they have the entire year to be cited and to be counted towards the impact factor. So if you experience that lag there, don't be surprised. The other point is the data used for calculating the impact factor are not publicly available. And once you have something that is not publicly available and you don't have transparency, you feel like there must be something wrong there. If you go home and your child is hiding his or her hand behind their back, that means there must be something that's not good. That's not good there. Therefore, a group of researchers and publishers and editors came together and said, you know what, enough is enough. Evaluating the impact of individual manuscripts or published papers based upon the impact factor of the journal in which they were published is not the appropriate way of measuring the impact of those papers. And they established the Declaration on Research Assessment, and this is a big movement that focuses on providing alternative metrics for fair assessment of research output. And these metrics are meant for funding agencies, for institutions, for publishers, for researchers, for even the organizations that supply metrics. And the main point of the Declaration on Research Assessment is to use assessment methods that assess the research on its own merits rather than the journal's impact factor. And they provided some recommendations for each category of these groups. And whenever we get, we come across one of those, recommendations, we will cover it. So these concepts and these basics have been implemented in many organizations for a long time. But the Declaration on Research Assessment put them together and actually established a movement where you can sign that declaration as an individual. You can get your department to sign it. You can get your college to sign it, your institution to sign it, and even if you have a position at the the national level, you could get that signed at the national level too. And again, when we think about motivations, we should not confine ourselves to small, minor, low energy motivations. We should look up for highly motivating objectives for publication, such as conducting high quality research. And CABI have been taking that into account for a long time, and that's why currently CABI has like 80% of the content available, which is the total is more than 13 million records, is only available at CABI, which means that they have been evaluating research based on its own merits for a long time, and we can do that too. This should be our criteria also. We should try to do and conduct high quality research. The other thing too, we should conduct studies that provide results that improves people's lives around the world. And this has been one of CABI's objectives too for a long time. And we could have that intention too while conducting and trying to publish our research. We publish to inform the public, to bring about change and improve their lives. Additionally, we should also try to publish to make sure that the knowledge is accessible to people around the world. And if we can make it available to people in their own language, that would be great. And again, CABI is a great platform for doing so, because they accept publication that has at least part of it, in local languages. That's why the content available on CABI's platform are in more than 40 different languages. So again, don't hesitate to include something that is written in your local language, if accepted by the publishing platform. With these motivations, I hope that we charge our batteries and we get our level of energy up, so that we can navigate that journey with enough energy to enable us to make it to the end. So next step is the research study. What makes a good research study? What makes a publishable research study? And we can ask ourselves also, what makes an impactful research study? If we think about these questions, we might get some ideas about that. Let's discuss those. First, if you want to have a good research study, basically you need to start with a significant research question. Then you study it using appropriate methodology, and you end up with interesting results. If you have these three pieces, you actually have some very good research study. And let's talk about each piece of these in details. So if you are a graduate student, then my advice for you to find an interesting research question is to read your advisor's work. Know their areas of expertise. Don't tweet alone. Be a team player. See where your research group is heading. Talk to the other students in the lab to see where the lab is moving, to be a good team player. And then read the literature to bring something new to your lab. So that means you will try to find something new that will contribute to your entire team, and that means it's going to be in harmony with your supervisory committee. That magnifies your chances of success as a graduate student. What do we need in a publishable research topic? It must be clearly defined. If the research question is vague or not clear, well, good luck. You're gonna have some hard time publishing it. It also should have some clear implications, not just a clearly defined topic, but it should have a clear implications. as we talked before, we should not just do research for research. We should impact. We should have a bigger impact than that. Okay, what if I want to elevate the impact of my research? Actually, in this case, you will need to look for high-profile research topics, such as you might be looking for something emerging or severe, like maybe coronavirus. And in this case, actually, the journals are going to be seeking your publication. This is a letter that has been sent to everyone in the career, telling them that publishers, actually made some pathway to accelerate research published on research produced on coronavirus, because we actually need it. So if you work on something emerging or severe, the likelihood of your research is gonna getting published is gonna be magnified, and also the profile of that research is gonna get higher. What if I don't work on coronavirus? Probably you could see the impact of coronavirus on your research, and I have a very interesting example about that. I work on air pollution in the ambient air, specifically on ozone air pollution in ambient air. And people were expecting that because we have lower traffic and lower, transportation because of coronavirus, that the ozone levels in ambient air are gonna go down. And actually, there were a study that looked at the impact of coronavirus on ozone levels on ambient air, and surprisingly, it was actually higher because of the balance between the precursors were changing and shifting more towards the production rather than the destruction of ozone in ambient air. So probably you could look at the impact of something emerging or severe on your area of research. Also, you could look at something persistent, something like maybe the elevated carbon dioxides in ambient air and how they're creeping up all the time. Something that has significant implications, again, like maybe if you can find find a method to store carbon dioxide from ambient air and maybe bring that curve down, that will have a great impact globally. Also, research studied or research conducted in understudied areas of the world is also considered as a high-profile research. So you can in your area of research, I'm sure you can find something that falls into this category. For example, in my area of research, people have been studying the impact of ozone air pollution on wheat for decades, for many decades. If you look up that, if you look at the literature, trying to find something published on wheat and ozone air pollution, you might find thousands of published paper describing that. But if you look for breeding ozone tolerant wheat, the number is zero. Actually, now there are two papers that were published in the last 2 years. So if you try to publish something on this area, it's going to be really considered as high profile research topic. Something that costs the world more than 70 million tons of wheat. It's shameful that it's yet to be approached with the intention of solving the problem instead of trying to just describe it. And I'm sure every one of you will be able to find something that brings that high profile aspect into their research topics. After identifying a significant research question, the next piece is to find the appropriate methodology to study it. And again, what are the criteria? What are the criteria of publishable research methods? We could publish research that has been conducted using known or modified methods. We also could publish research papers that used new methods. So we could publish research using both types of methods. However, if we want to elevate the profile of our research methods, probably we should try to use the best known method. Or maybe if we want to look for modified methods, it should be a significant modification, or maybe a significant new or novel new method. Also, another way of elevating the profile of the research method is maybe to look at things at a different scale. Maybe instead of looking at individual leaf, you look at the problem at the whole plant scale, maybe an entire row of plants in the field, or maybe an entire field. So try to think of how to make the research more applicable and more appealing by probably changing the scale. Maybe look closer at a scale that people were not able to look at before, or maybe study it at a larger scale where the conclusions will be applicable and to natural systems, let's say. But there are some requirements for established methods or parameters. If you're gonna study the topic using established method or an established method or parameter, it should be correctly chosen, it should be appropriately executed, and it should also be appropriately cited. And in this case, there is a recommendation from the Declaration on Research Assessment for us, which is whenever appropriate, we should cite the primary literature in which the observations are first reported, instead of citing a review paper that mentioned those findings. In this case, if you cite the initial report, you are giving credit where it is due, instead of giving credits to those who just wrote the research, the review articles. What about the new parameters or the new methods? They should be correctly proposed, which means that they address some real, shortcomings of or some actual deficiencies of the established methods, and they should be clearly described so people can repeat them. And the new methods also, or new parameters, should be appropriately verified, just to make sure that we understand how they relate to the previous knowledge, to be able to build upon them. What if I'm gonna use a modified parameter or method? Then you have to apply the two requirements at the same time. So original method is correctly chosen, appropriately credited, the modification are correctly proposed, clearly described and executed, and also the new and or modified, the modified method should be appropriately verified. With that, we should have been able to pick a very good research question, study it using a very good appropriate research methodology that takes us to the interesting results that we are looking in this case, what do we consider as interesting results? To be able to publish results, they should be clear. They should be well presented or visualized, so people can understand them. They should further our understanding of an explained phenomena or reports on a new one. These are the criteria of publishable results. What if I want to elevate the profile of my results? What are the criteria that I need to have in my results to be considered as high profile results? Well, they should be very clear results. As my my PhD advisor used to tell me when I get something like that, he said, "Sayed, you know, you don't need a PhD to see the difference between treatment and control here." So they should be very clear. They should be, presented using the best visualization or a novel visualization method. They should explain an unexplained phenomenon, so they significantly take our knowledge further. Or they report on new significant phenomena, not just any new phenomena. No, they report on new significant ones. So that brings the high profile. And this is something that we, or many researchers tend to underestimate, or the results challenges or challenge our understanding of significant known phenomena. For example, if someone somehow were able to prove that actually carbon dioxide has nothing to do with global warming, that will be really fascinating, because that will be challenging something that people think the vast majority of researchers believes in. So if someone, especially undergraduate students, if you see something that doesn't obey the consensus in the published, body of scientific findings, then don't scrub it under the rug. No, bring it up, discuss it with your advisor, and try to come up with an explanation for it. And because that's going to be considered as a high profile result, instead of being something that you might think you should be ashamed of. Again, the Declaration on Research Assessment is encouraging us to challenge any assessment practices that doesn't, rely on the influence of the specific research output, and just rely on the journal's impact factor. So don't think that if you don't publish in that journal with the high impact factor, your research is not going to be considered as a high profile research. And if you see or meet any practices that doesn't reflect that, please challenge it. Don't just follow that. How to search the literature for topics, methods, results using CABI resources. I'll briefly cover different places where you can, and different resources that CABI provides that would assist you achieving those objectives. And as Brahim mentioned, probably next time, we will have a live demo for every one of those platforms. Basically, you could use CAB Direct, and CAB Direct is the most comprehensive, the most comprehensive database in agriculture, life sciences, veterinary medicine. It also covers the environmental science, public health and nutrition, leisure and tourism. So it's a very rich resource that has more than 13 million records. 80% of them, so we're talking here about like 9 million records are exclusively available via CAB Direct. So you can search CAB Direct, and in this case we recommend that you use the multi-field search, which is more efficient than just the simple search or basic search. If you wanna have a bottom-up type of experience, probably if you know what you are looking for, but you wanna expand your knowledge of what are the closely related topics to that research point that you may not be aware of, you can use CAB Thesaurus, where you could insert your research topic, and then Thesaurus will provide you with all the closely related topics to expand your ideas and understanding of that topic, and probably give you some new insight on what might be some new directions that you might look for. And it's worth mentioning that Thesaurus is being used by the FAO for their activities. If you want to have or if you want to look at for a review article that covers your research topic, then it's CAB Reviews. CAB Reviews provides over 4,000 review articles that covers the research subject topics or areas that we previously mentioned. And I apologize here, I put the image for CABI ebooks instead of CAB Reviews. So I apologize for that. We could also find information about the organisms or the crops or the plants or the animals that we are studying using the fact sheets, which is available via CABI Compendia. In this case, it provides some detailed information supported by literature about individual organisms, or maybe let's say research subjects that you study. And again, each one of those will be covered in more details in the live demo next time. The Compendia, which is some very applicable resources, some very brief and applicable resources that you could search for your research topic and use. Also CABI ebooks, which is a very rich and a very large collection of ebooks that you could also use. And here you could find entire books or individual chapters about the research area that you are looking for. So with that, we can move into the next. So now we have charged our batteries with a lot of motivations. We used the momentum to carry on some very interesting and some very useful research. And now we should be, we're going to discuss the journal selection and when exactly we should be thinking about that. And how do we choose the right journal for our research? Well, the first and most important advice is we should avoid any unknown and predatory journals and publishers. And how do we know those? Well, there is a lot of advices there. Actually, good journals are not going to seek your publication. Actually, well-established journals are not going to keep sending you emails frequently about, okay, we need your publication. It's going to be the last one for our inaugural special issue. And we invite you to join our editorial board. And then once you fall into the trap, then you will find yourself being asked to send payments and stuff like that. So don't accept that offer from journals that you are not aware of. And don't just take these words in their emails for granted. Double check every single claim and make sure that if you are going to consider any of those journals, that you yourself vet their claims and that their journals satisfy the requirements that you need from your publication. Some very good way of doing so is to consider the journals that you frequently read and cite. The journals that are being published by scientific societies that you are a member of and have enough credibility, to support those journals, or maybe journals that are published by non-profit organizations like CABI, for example, as it is one of the not-for-profit organizations. You should also maybe look for journals that are free of charge, because most of the predatory journals are going to ask for payments. So if you double check yourself every time you are asked to make a payment for a journal, then that probably will be a good idea. We also should consider the national prestigious journals too, because most of the national journals have some sections published in the local language, and that brings us back to the motivations of publishing internationally. So, for example, these are the journals that are being published by the American Phytopathological Society. And you find there like a very wide and diverse group of journals that are backed up by a big organization like the American Phytopathological Society. Those journals, when you publish it there, you know that you are publishing via a very prestigious and a very good platform, and again, because they are led by elite scientists in their fields, and most people in the field are gonna or are already publishing there. That builds up your reputation and your name in your field. Also, these journals sometimes provide some free of charge publications, especially for graduate and undergraduate students. They also provide like travel awards for students to attend conferences. So even if they charge you, you know that some of that money is gonna come back to early career scientists and students, you know, to support their career. So it's a very good vehicle to publish your research. Make sure also the journal that you are going to publish in meets the requirement for your graduation, for the graduation from your grad school or the grant, the requirements for the grant or funding agency, and also for promotion. And as you know, some promotion systems might require a certain number of publications with minimum number of quartile or impact factor. Although this, as we said before, you know, the practices that are based upon the impact factor solely are not really welcomed, or should not be really welcome. If you are looking for field prominence, to establish prominence in your field, probably you should focus on the specialized journals. If you would like to have or to receive more citations to increase the impact factor, therefore to increase the number of citations you receive, therefore increasing the H index, which we're going to come into soon. Probably you should look for publishing in the interdisciplinary research journals. Probably you should also consider the speed of publication. So established and well-known journals might take longer to publish your research comparing to an newly launched journal. However, here be careful if you want to go for the speedy publication. Be careful where you publish. For example, you want to make sure that the journal you're going to publish in is new, but it's launched by a good organization. And here we have two examples. So, for example, the Phytobiomes journal from the American Phytopathological Society is a new journal, but it's from the APS. So, if you want to go for the new journals, probably you should go there. Also, this is an interdisciplinary journal comparing to phytopathology, maybe, or plant disease. So here you are selecting an interdisciplinary journal that is new. So a good understanding of the type of journal you're applying, you're submitting for is very important. Also, CABI just launched CABI Agriculture and Bioscience Journal. It's an open access journal, and it's new. So this is another example of new journals that are really being launched by strong organizations with significantly high credibility to publishing. Also, you should consider the difference between regular and special issues. Regular issues, usually publishing regular issues usually takes more time comparing to special issues. Special issues are faster and expedited, actually, because they are led by, in most cases, by guest editors that are well known in their fields. They focus on a specific topic, and therefore the editors or the guest editors are more qualified to identify reviewers. And again, if you submit something to be published in a special issue and then you receive a manuscript for the same special issue to review, probably people are more, lenient toward accepting, because it's considered as a service to your area of research. Therefore, typically the special issues are quicker and faster in publishing and accepting manuscripts for publication. And because publishing in a special issue will put your publication with all the big names in your area of research, it's also very good for prominence. And also because people, when people read the special issue, usually they look for, they check all the papers that are in that special issue, because it's basically on the same topic. That drives higher citations too, higher citations rate, I mean, too. Which means that special issues are good for so many reasons. Also, journals might be more willing to accept papers for publication free of charge in special issues, especially if they don't have that many number of manuscripts submission to that special issue, so might be financially appealing too. So consider that when you submit your paper for publication. And again, think more about the type of publication you want to publish. If you have a research topic, then there are journals that accept and focus on that. If you have practical topic, you should consider the journals that have practical backgrounds. And I'll take that here. For example, if you have something that is fundamental in plant pathology, you will go for phytopathology. But if you have something that actually has some major disease component, then you go for plant disease. If you have something that is really applicable, then you go for plant health and progress. If you have something interdisciplinary, then you go to phytobiomes. If you have molecular, major molecular component of the research, and you have maybe host pathogen interaction, then probably you move to the MPMI. So be aware of where exactly you put the type of your publication and where exactly it fits. Don't submit a review article to a journal that focuses on practical research. Don't send a methodology paper to a journal that is accepting only review articles. These things might seem trivial, but yeah, you won't believe how many of these errors come to editors, as I heard from many editors in previous workshops that I participated in as a trainee, which were led by editors of different journals. Think about the impact factor of the journal, if this is still required from you. Because yes, we push for change, but we abide by the rules. If you are required to publish in journals with a minimum of impact factor, then you should consider that. If you wanna elevate your H-index, then probably you should look for publishing in Q1 journals, in open access journals. Maybe you should consider writing review articles, because they still get more reviews than they deserve. And I'm sorry to say that, but this is the fact. Also consider, publishing methodology papers, because these two tend to get more citations comparing to the research articles and practical articles. So we have field-specific journal ranking, where we have different entities providing different ranking methodologies. So make sure that you double-check that, assure that the journal satisfies the requirements that you need. Okay, well, that means I should take that decision early then, probably while I'm conducting the research, probably when I am thinking about the research topic. Yes, actually you should start that early. You should start that early to make sure that while conducting the research, actually you're meeting the requirement for the journal that you will try to publish in. So if you're gonna seek a high profile journal, that means probably you should not be, you should try to put yourself hard in terms of selecting the research methodology, the scale, and all the other criteria that we talked about. Okay, what if I wrote the manuscript submitted to the journal that I considered the most appropriate one, and then I end up with a rejection from that journal? Then I have a written manuscript now in my hands that needs to be submitted somewhere else. How can I choose the journal in this case? Then most of the publishing agencies provide a platform for suggesting journals for publication. Most of them are gonna ask for the manuscript title, maybe the entire manuscript text, or maybe the abstract, and then you're going to be asked to provide some more details like the subject area, the minimum impact factor that would satisfy your requirements, acceptance rates, time for first decision, indexing services, and so on. And once you provide these information and you seek suggestion, you will get a list of suggested journals. And it's not a secret that most of those journals are going to be coming from the same publishing, agency. And this is not just about this example that we're looking at here. It's about every one of those. Actually, this is a service that they provide, so you would expect that they are providing it to help you publish in their platform, not just to help you publish your research somewhere else. So if you're going to do so, please shop around. Don't buy from the first shop. Try to do the same thing in different platforms and try to come up with the journal that is frequently suggested by different platforms, and then double check that journal and make sure it meets your criteria of selecting a journal for publication before you actually submit there. And don't try not to do this or to follow this methodology unless you actually have a rejection manuscript in your hands. You should consider and decide on where exactly you should publish this particular idea once or as early as you can, and I cannot emphasize that more. So with that, we should have had some very good motivations that charge our batteries and give us the energy that enables us to carry the weight of the research process up towards the top of that mountain where we get our research published and making it visible from some very long distance. Charging our batteries with motivations, using some very detailed advices on how to identify the research topic, the research methodology, and then some detailed advices on selecting the journal. Now we are ready to write our manuscript. And this is going to be the topic for our next session. We're going to talk about that in details. We're going to break down the manuscript into each of its components and talk about how efficiently and effectively write each piece of those. We're going to start with the bird's eye view of a manuscript and then dive deep into each component and try to break it down into its subcomponents and try to share some advices on how exactly we should put those subcomponents together to bring up a very good component of the manuscript and eventually to have a very well written manuscript. So be ready for that next time. I also remind you that next time we will also have the live demo of CABI's different resources. With that, I thank you all so much for being with us today and for your attention. And I am more than happy to answer any questions that you guys might have, or maybe listen to any advices or comments that you might would like to share with me or with our respected friends and participants who are with us today in the session. And Brahim, the platform is yours for coordinating this part of the session, or for any feedback that you would like to share with all of us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Said. Really, thank you. We're sorry we didn't have the usual number. I hope people will join more next week. And if you have any question, please go ahead. Otherwise, be here same time next Tuesday for part 2, and then it will be the part 3 the following.